the Druid, the newest steel ship to come to World of Warships Legends. It's a ship that was in testing last update, and well, I was hoping some changes would be made to it, but sadly they are not. Today we're going to go over a review of the ship, show off the build, the commander, all that jazz. And if you like videos like this, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's just start with the build. With Druid, we are running aiming system mod 1. Then we are running steering gears. Note, because of British quirkiness, there is no engine mod here, or prop mod. Then in the third slot, we are running the concealment mod. And finally, we're running main battery mod 3, the legendary version, mainly because this ship is a rental. Thank you so much, Board Gaming, as they have given it to me as a rental because I'm a CC. And as a result, when the ship goes away in a couple of days, this mod will fall right off and I don't have to pay to take it off. Only reason we're really using it, and because really the only thing this thing has is firepower. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the consumables. We have the damage control party, pretty standard. Then the smoke generator, it is the British smoke, 10-second duration, 40-second dispersion time, reload in about a minute, and you get six consumables of it. Then we have the British sonar, long duration, shorter range than say the Germans, you get 2 charges of that. And then the repair party, which is sort of unique for British destroyers, but you know, it's slightly starting to become more and more common with a couple of destroyers. Anyways, it's not overly impressive, but it does give you a little bit of taste of some extra HP, bringing back, if you use both charges, about 4,000 health, which, hey, that is incredibly useful. Speaking of health, what are we looking at? 22,000 base health, meaning you could get about 26,000 total HP on this thing. Armor, nothing to really write home about. It's your bog standard destroyer armor. Druid is a daring class ship, so it has the same armor profile as that. The whole quirk of this vessel, though, is here in the main guns. 2 2-barreled 127mm guns, firing AP only, with a blazing fast reload time, 1.6 seconds, 12-kilometer range, and that's kind of all you need to know. The other thing, though, is there's no torpedoes, so I guess to make up for that, we get a little bit of a decent AA rating out of this thing. Overall, better than I would expect out of a usual destroyer. Maneuverability, 35 knots, 4.9 second rudder shift time, and then finally, we get to the concealment, and you're looking at 6.1 kilometers by sea, 3.2 by air, and 2.6 while firing in smoke. The commander we are running is Sononuki Shiriko. She's one of the recent collaboration commanders, built as a gunboat commander for the British. It's unique because none of the tech tree line, the base commanders for the British, are gunboat commanders. So this being a full gunboat, it makes sense to use her. Inspirations we are running are Vincent Mortiff in Sa Zan Bing. Then we have her base trait, which is going to boost destroyer gun traverse speed and main battery reload time. Then we have Observe at Range, Reaching Out, Twist and Track, Aerial Fire Support, which is her unique skill, giving us better reload when we are spotted, and then finally, Unstoppable. And if you didn't pick her up, which I wouldn't blame you, because while it is nice to have British gunboats that are more effective than not, she's not exactly the one you would go for usually. If I was a free-to-play player, the one that I would be most likely using for Druid is going to be Vine. He has better incoming fire dispersion, quick fix, look at me now, perceptive, and then sidestep. Sidestep being the main one just to get more range out of these. You may suffer a little just because the shells do get a little floaty at range, but I think Vine is probably your best bet as far as a gunboat-esque build, especially when, well, you got some other folks when there's no torpedoes to buff on this ship. And if you wanted to purchase Druid, you would head on over into the store. It is available for steel, so you'd head on over to the forge and it's available for 25,000 steel, along with Dyson, Salem, and Missouri. Missouri, of course, being 17,500 steel. a bargain compared to the rest. We'll go ahead and talk about it in the game, so let's just dive on into a game on Scandinavia. And we spawn over on the D side, and we have a bit of a weird spawn. If you notice, there's an equal number of destroyers on each team, but we spawned with a destroyer as opposed to one being spread out at each spawn. I guess there is some division tomfoolery about, but hey, we will take it because having the second destroyer ends up being incredibly useful for us. Druid is a bit of an interesting ship. We're of course heading into the cap to try to get it. A Rochester is charging in a move I definitely did not expect when it's starting this match, and we're just going to go ahead and use the spotting of our teammate to be able to begin to engage him. And this is, I'm going to call it the strong suit of Druid, or this is the benefit of having another teammate to give you spotting power, because Druid is a incredibly powerful ship, but it definitely has some lacking. So Mogdor pops up here, and you're going to see kind of what Druid is specialized in, which is taking out destroyers if we could hit them. We go ahead and pop our smoke, and now we're finally starting to get some decent pens in on Mogdor. Of course, we need to hit that main armor plate in the center, and once we get those full armed AP shells, we do decently, but you saw just how much we struggled when we weren't perfect with our gunnery. We're going to pop our sonar just because we don't want to be caught out unexpectedly by torpedoes from Mogdor. Rochester continued his charge, which, like, I guess I don't blame him, because he saw, oh, there's two destroyers, I'm a cruiser, duh, I'm gonna win. But as you can see, cruisers, when in close range and broadside to Druid, we are able to have some very effective farming done. We're not quite at the angle we should be here. We need to straighten up because, of course, Druid has just two main batteries, and they are stacked on the front of the ship. So sort of the name of the game here, as we take another massive hit, the name of the game here is sort of getting that front of your ship saturated. Of course, each area of a ship has an amount of HP that can be lost from it. And Druid, because both of the guns are up front, if you're nose into a target, you can go ahead and get the front of the ship saturated. It can be harder for enemies to deal huge amounts of damage from your nose. So that's sort of how you want to play the Druid here. But anyways, Iowa has now pushed in, and we're going to get some more of this rapid fire onto the Iowa as we just sort of chunk him. And this has kind of been my issue with the Druid right here. And you could say we're being plenty effective, but if we didn't have that other destroyer with us, would we be effective right now? And I don't think so, especially with the way this game tends to play out. As credit where credit's due to that Iowa, who just blind fired us. Good on him for that. I guess it does make it easier that there is literal tracers starting in the smoke cloud every 1 second, so he knows where to fire. But still, good on him for being able to hit us in the blind fire, taking us down to just 1,000 health. But getting back to my point, Druid is a ship that feels like it struggles when it doesn't have the support of teammates, especially for spotting, because you know, it's not like you're doing large amounts of alpha strike, right? You are doing, if you are doing good in Druid like we are right now, you are giving up chip damage. You're dealing chip damage over a long period of time, which can then take down a ship, right? You don't have your torpedoes to take out 10, 15, 20,000 health off of an enemy in one hit. You just have to consistently do the AP. You don't have the HE, which can deal that damage over time of fire, right? Remember, a fire takes, what is it, 15, 20% of the health of a battleship if they leave it burning for the whole time, or is it like 10%? It's still a large chunk of damage that fire does, that because you're in a Druid, because you're only able to fire AP, you are not able to do. So those are just kind of things to keep in mind, just keep to the forefront of your mind when you're dealing with Druid. Anyways, we have finally won the D side. Our team is winning handily, thankfully. And we're going to go ahead. We don't have much health, so we're going to have to play this a bit strategically. Luckily, Richelieu here, not exactly able to fire at us at this angle just because of where his guns are. So we're going to use this sort of poor ballistic trajectory or to our benefit here. You can see, especially once the Druid shells get out to range, they are a bit sluggish. That's what we were talking about with Vine, where if you took the extra range, you may struggle to hit people, but it can be useful in situations like this where you're able to lob those shells over the island. And you can see when you get the broadside of a battleship, and Richelieu is I'm not going to call it lightly armored, but its broadside does feel a bit more lightly armored than most. We're able to get some pretty decent damage out of him. But overall, Druid, is good when it can fire from concealment. How often do you get spotting, though? That's sort of, like I said, that's sort of the issue as we pick up our third assist. Now, this is something I haven't talked about on this channel yet, but the new assist ribbon and the new helping hand medal are both, I think, pretty fantastic updates to this game. One, sound design. Tip of the hat, round of applause to whoever designed the sound of the new assist medal or assist ribbon. It sounds fantastic. It tricks me mentally into feeling like I got the kill just because it's that good like slot machine click sound. It is satisfying as a human to hear. It delivers proper feedback to the player that they did something good, which is just firing at an enemy ship before it goes down. So good on them. Of course, the way you get the assist ribbon is you deal damage to a ship 30 seconds before in any time period, 30 seconds before it is down, before it is destroyed. If you do that, you get an assist medal, which if you get 5 of them, you get the helping hand medal, which lets you know that you really deserve to crack, and everyone is a terrible person and stole it from you. Totally. Anyways, we have a Magi as we pick up the Confederate and the assisted medal on Velos, which, by the way, 30 seconds. Like, we hadn't fired at that Velos in a long minute. It might need tuning on the 30 seconds, but a Magi goes broadside, and, well, we pick up our 5th assist and our helping hand medal to finish out the game. Overall, Druid, I think it might be the worst of the steel ships in the supply. Maybe you like it, but I can't recommend it. Anyways, that is our game, 2,962 XP for a pretty decent game. Guys, if you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.